For Tuesday, STX, which is Seagate, definitely made a run up. It's in a bit of a bull flag pattern up toward the top over here. The thing that really intrigues me about this name is that we did have a stacks print come in quite recently on it. So STX. Overall, as a name, you don't see too much activity, and a lot of times this activity all tends to be unusual, but we've got these calls that came in on the 14th, I believe. Yeah, on the 14th, March 20th, 2026, 190 calls, 1.33 mil. And then we also had some puts being sold later, about a week later, puts being sold for 105 for 2027. Now, do I think at 150 you're going to see this come back down to 105? Probably not. So these are really just, they're trying to sell these puts to take that theta value out of it, selling for $7 per contract there. We also had these calls. I would say for a earnings play, these are kind of pricey. September 19th, 150 strike, but I definitely could see it peak up above 150 in due time, especially with the way that this chart looks. Let me go a little bit closer on the chart for you. If you just kind of look in here, we've got this where we're near these all-time highs. We're just kind of in this bull flag pattern. So, and another interesting thing is we just had a wick down below here. So I do think that we could see it push above that 150, eventually 154. Question here, I would say, is how much time will that take? Down till September, possibly. That is definitely a possibility, but I think if they are able to report some solid earnings here, maybe some new news or things like that, we'll see it head up above that pretty quick.
I got some numbers for Seagate that are pretty interesting. We're expecting EPS to come in at $2.46 a share, which is a rise of 134.3% year over year. So right off the bat, great sign, if I'm being honest. Revenue, we're looking at $2.41 billion, and that's 27.5% year over year. So they're already primed and set up to have a solid report potentially. And the consensus with them is, will they beat again? It's not a matter of if Seagate's going to beat, it's more of how much will they beat by, because historically they do well in earnings. Now, some underlying drivers for these fellas and ladies. Seagate, it's seeing a demand for mass capacity storage. And this is because of cloud requirements. Because guess what? When you send stuff to the cloud, it has to go somewhere. And it's probably into one of Seagate's HDDs, because their HDD demand has absolutely accelerated at this point. It continues to see strong demand for high capacity nearline products from cloud customers worldwide, coupled with a gradual improvement in the VIA market. This is expected to have increased revenues and profits in the June quarter. They're also expecting secular trends and innovations to increase areal density, benefiting mass capacity storage. Management noted that the launch of the Mosaic 3 Plus hard drive platform in 2024 positions it well to capture market share in mass capacity storage solutions as well. And then Seagate's technology strategy remains closely aligned with shifting market trends as well. And that's another thing that they have going for them. That's the nice part about being in the storage space. You can kind of just move to whatever the next thing is with minimal to no impact, because you're just going to be benefiting other businesses at the end of the day. Now, with the ESP, it's looking at 2.34% right now. And most analysts right now have rated this stock as a buy. And that's another good sign going into earnings. Typically, you'll see a lot of investors and analysts move their rankings to holds if they do. So the fact that this is still a buy from a consensus standpoint is a great thing to understand as well. Some other companies that are similar to them, most notable that we'll probably talk about, I think, later this week, is Qualcomm. So this STX earnings report will give us a little insight into what we can expect to happen with Qualcomm here. So that's another thing to keep in mind here, folks, is a lot of times, like if Starbucks doesn't do well, for example, the Cheesecake Factory isn't going to do well because they're owned by the same company. So if it's a lot of these can correlate and will run if they have similar setups in a sense. So Qualcomm, STX, I expect them to kind of work in tandem in a sense, where if one beats, the other's probably going to beat, because that's what we're going to see the reaction of that sector going to be.
Yeah.
Overall, I like these numbers that I'm seeing with Seagate at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is I have Seagate hard drives in my house. I have built computers with Seagate hard drives. I've used Seagate quite a lot. Have I ever invested in it? Not really. But at the end of the day, I know it's out there because I'm actively buying it on a consistent basis on a consumer level. So I can imagine, especially with everybody moving to more cloud storage-based systems, those drives are going to become more and more important. And if they're going to continue to be the leaders in it, I see many, many more green quarters and earnings beats for them in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely something that, in the long run, they're going to do well. PE ratio is only at 22. So, I mean, I don't think too much of that forward-looking guidance is actually really priced into it just yet. I think definitely can see this well above 160 in due time.